Okay, hello and welcome to another instance of Aid and Mike's Monday Night Wars with Aid, of course, and you, Mike.
Hello.
So this week we'll be looking at the September the 11th, 1995 editions of both Raw and Nitro, because Raw is back after the possible dog show incident. So obviously that's to come. First, we'll do a little bit of what was happening in the world, by which I mean the US and the UK, around about those kind of times. So,
Firstly, can I just apologise for my drunkenness on the
no,
on the
you may
last one?
not.
Okay.
So, on to news. So in the US, there was MTV Music Awards were in the week in between the two. Apparently, Tom Petty and Madonna won.
I like Tom Petty.
I know you like
And
Tom
I
Petty.
like Madonna.
I'm not huge on Madonna. Tom
The 80s
Petty
stuff. I like.
Yeah, fair enough. Tom Petty's a good lad. Big fan of American
Good
Girl.
Super
That's a good
Bowl
song.
Super Bowl halftime show. I didn't know much of him until I watched that.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. Like, I mean he did do a solid show. Like a lot of those guys do. Like all the kind of stadium rock type people.
You know more about American football than I do, but it seems a happy
Just
thing.
goes with it. Yeah, to be fair, Bruno Mars has done a good solid job for times he's done it. Bit weird, bit showy, but decent. Not his biggest fan, but he's done good at that. Right, so the only other real thing that happened in the week was some kind of space shuttle launch. Like I think it was Endeavour 9, so it wasn't really going anywhere, but might have been going up to a space station or something. It wasn't that exciting. And then, interestingly, according to the internet, there was no news in the UK. Nothing happened.
Quiet week.
Apparently so. I even looked into what was going on TV, and also nothing. So, yeah, don't know if records were destroyed or what, but nothing remains to let us know what happened in the second week of September 1995. So, moving on to sport. We actually talked a bit about tennis last time, but the US Open finals were the weekend before, so the weekend of the 9th of 10th. Graf beat Sellis, actually.
After the
Yeah, so this is after. So Sellis is, I think it was her first Grand Slam back after the incident. Yeah, she got to the final, but then Graf did her over. And in the men's, Sampras beat Andre Agassi.
How old were they both in that final?
My Graf and Sellis.
No, Agassi and Sampras.
I don't really know.
Was that at the beginning of their rivalry, or
It would be kind of in the middle, I think. So they were both kind of 90s guys, weren't they? They were both early to late 90s. I mean, Sampras clocked out about 2001, I think. I guess he went a bit longer, so they'd have been pretty young. Would have been quite early on. But, I mean, really setting the tone.
Agassi would have still had hair then.
Oh, don't know. I mean, he must have won Wimbledon around then, like a few years after.
He was wearing those. Remember, I had those weird Agassi tennis shorts.
Yeah. I mean,
which were like spandex.
Yeah, you did not look good in those. Mate. I won't lie to you. They were pretty appalling. Yeah. So that was sport. The only other thing actually that I found was that week was the game where the match of soccer where Rennie Higuita did his scorpion kick thing,
which was responsible for half the population nearly breaking a neck trying to replicate
everyone in the world trying to do it. But my favourite thing about the scorpion kick is that it in no way counted, because
the ref blew up for
so it in no way counted for anything, which I think is part of the reason he did it. I think he knew it was like the match was stopped.
He could fuck up if
and no one would really care. But I mean, to be fair, it was impressive. I've not really seen anyone do anything even vaguely similar since, because of how, I mean, there's just no point. He could have just stood there and caught it.
If I remember, all over the press, it was about how spectacular it was. But I think if an English player did that,
yeah, but get a bit of a talking to about being. I mean, because it is totally needless. As in, like, it can only go badly. The ball was going right at him. It wasn't a hard thing to say.
if you don't know what it is, Look, Google it.
Yeah, so I mean, Scorpion Kick's a pretty good description. He does he kind of does the worm, but like kicks a ball with his back legs.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's good. Like it still gets showed to this day. It's like it's a real one of a kind football.
He was one of those goalkeepers.
Yeah,
wasn't he? An eccentric. Is that?
Well, I mean, eccentric is always applied to people who are sometimes they dribble a bit more than they should. Like Rennie Higuita was actually mental. Like if you look him up, he did he was
criminally.
I don't think so. Like I think he might have been in with some Colombian stuff, but obviously I don't want to say he was without proof because that is slander. So yeah.
What do you mean by Colombian stuff?
I mean, I think
you don't want to say it.
Yeah,
not just slander.
Yeah,
other repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, there's repercussions, but I don't.
Racist profiling.
Yeah, I'm not racially profiling Colombians, except I am. But I'm not really. So yeah, what's about sport? Music.
It's just banter, isn't that?
Yeah, it's just banter. It's just banter. That makes it okay, apparently.
We'll not say banter again. I hate that.
No, and if you shorten it in any way, then you should basically be put down. I mean, just no.
So there'll be no bants or banter.
Yeah, because if there's any bants, I'm having you put down, Mike.
I'm not in a bants mood today, but
fair enough.
We'll crack on.
Yeah. So anyway, in terms of music, UK chart almost exactly the same as it was the week before. You Are Not Alone still top. Country House and Roll With It still in amongst it. The only other thing which is Can I Touch You There by Michael Bolton. Which is a song that I've always found hilariously amusing.
If you want.
Yes. So, yeah, whatever, Mike.
I was thinking today, actually, because I was recalling the last podcast. Not that I can remember much of it. But I was thinking about Michael Jackson, and has your enjoyment of his songs changed?
Because of what, Mike? Well, what are you referring to?
Because of...
no, it hasn't, actually, is the honest answer. To be fair, You Are Not Alone was never one of my favourites.
He is officially innocent of all allegations.
Yeah, of course. So, but yeah, I mean, at the very least, he was a bit strange. But yeah, no, I'd like his early stuff, the Jackson 5 stuff, and a lot of his 80s stuff I still really enjoy. Billie Jean still gets me up on that dance floor.
Don't you think, lesser people have had mud sticking a lot more than...
Yeah,
there's nothing to forgive. I was going to say he seems to have been forgiven a lot easier than others, but officially there's nothing to forgive.
Yeah, it hasn't really tarred him. I mean, I think a lot of it came after he would really kind of stop making music on any kind of regular basis, which probably helps because he was already, he's already a big star and everything. Anyway, I'll Be There For You is on there as well. Obviously, this is
the juggernaut that was Friends.
Yeah, so this was real Friends time, I think.
Probably the biggest TV show I've been alive for.
Yeah. I mean, it was really huge. Like, it's still on over here on Comedy Central, like on a pretty regular basis for a show that's over a decade old. I guess we had less
choice then because there were fewer channels and fewer things being made, but it was like the Big Bang Theory times 1,000. Yeah,
and it was really the first few series of it were really good.
Everyone watched it as well.
Yeah, everybody watched it. So, like you say, I think the amount of choice these days, there's it happens less. Game of Thrones is pretty big, to be fair. That is big. But anyway, moving on. So over in the US, there was Gangster's Paradise was number one by
which was the theme song for Dangerous
Minds, yeah, which is still in the box office. It's at number 2 now. It's been replaced at number 1 by new entry Tu Wong Fu, which is the
Has that got Wesley Snipes as a transvestite?
Yeah, Wesley Snipes, Patrick Swayze, and a third man, obviously.
Is that a remake of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
No, it's a completely different thing. I've not seen either of them, actually. But it's a completely different thing. There's a couple of other new entries, but they are absolutely awful looking. I don't remember Last of the Dogman, and National Lampoon's Senior Trip was this was at the point when National Lampoon had really gone real terrible.
Probably entertaining, Mark.
Probably entertaining, yeah, I'll give it that. Anyway, so over in the UK box office, not really sure what else there was, but number one was The Bridges of Madison County.
Which I made you watch one
Which
time.
you made me watch one time, yeah. It was a waste of 2 hours. I don't really get it. I don't get The Bridges of Madison County.
It's all about, the one that got away, isn't it?
It was
Taking that chance or not.
I just thought it was kind of dull, Mike. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't get into The Bridges of Madison County. But anyway, so not really a big week in news. I mean, US Open finals is obviously pretty big in sport, but not a huge amount going on. Other than, of course, the first episode of the fall season of Monday Night Raw.
So we did a weird thing this time because I'm living here temporarily because of personal issues. We watched it together in silence, which was a bit
kind of
weird.
strange, yeah. But I think it probably worked better. It would have ruined the podcast if we talked ourselves out on it. But yeah, so Raw also apparently, as well as the first of their fall season, apparently this was the first episode shown on Sky Sports in Europe.
Yeah, so it's a good accident that this is the first, because it would have been the first Raw that we would have been able to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I've no memory of it.
I didn't watch it.
I don't think I had Sky Sports at the time, if I'm honest.
I didn't have Sky Sports either.
Okay, well, I mean, so Raw anyway. Raw opens with a quick review of SummerSlam, which can only have been a few weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks.
It had the second ladder match between Razor and Shawn.
That Shawn wins.
Which I remember being really good, but gets a lot less fanfare than the first now.
Well, I mean, it's the second, isn't it? So, and the first one was at WrestleMania as well. So, I mean, you can't knock people for remembering that one more. But yeah, I mean, so Shawn won that to win the Intercontinental belt.
Mm-hmm.
Looked clean. Didn't see anything wrong with that. That apparently has set up a title defense against Psycho Sid for tonight's Raw. So that'll be nice.
I like that vignette with Vince.
Yeah, I mean
not a vignette, the recap of SummerSlam.
Yeah, so I mean just to fill anyone in, basically the Raw commentary team at this point is Vince and Jerry the King Lawler. And one of the things I thought about Raw in general, especially comparing it to Nitro from last week, the simpatico between the two commentators is better. They have a better rapport.
Well, maybe it's because I watched Nitro drunk last week.
Yeah.
And maybe it was nostalgia making me think it was better than it was. But this week, well, we'll get into it. But
we will get into Nitro after we've done Raw. There is a reason we'll be doing Raw first. And if you do want to watch the shows and to keep up, we would strongly suggest you watch Raw first. But anyway, but
yeah, it was. They were a lot easier with each other.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell they've been doing it together for a little while now. Individually, what you think of them as commentators? I think Bobby the Brain is the best of the commentators available at the minute.
See, I don't, and I hate myself for saying it, but I thought it was. I think it's Lawler.
Yeah, Lawler was also good, to be fair. Okay, well, anyway,
but I wanted to prefer Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, Lawler was he's a bit more high energy than
both
for Bobby.
Vince McMahon and Lawler, really high energy.
Yeah, they are. I mean
Vince McMahon, he's one pace and one tone, but it does get you going a bit.
It does get you going a bit. And look, we'll cover this more around his match, but I mean, they are big on Shawn Michaels.
Well, we'll get
so we'll come to that. So the rest of the recap of SummerSlam, there were some other matches. Most of them seemed a bit pointless. The only other one that seemed relevant to me was Bulldog pulling a heel turn.
Yeah.
So Rich Bulldog's pulled himself heel turn, and he's got a match with Razor on Raw. Apparently,
his heel turn was against Diesel.
Yeah, so he's attacked Diesel, who's champ, obviously. So it's just standard heel turn. I mean, it's been done a lot, being passed over. So he's gone heel to try and make a statement.
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how it goes for him.
I think last week I said that I thought that the WCW signature was good. The WWE one's amazing. It's better than it is now.
Yeah, it was quite good actually. Yeah, but anyway,
is the song called "I Like It Raw"?
It seemed to be. It was a
Don't we all?
strange song. Like I couldn't really figure out what was going on. But yeah. So I mean that's the start.
But it was cool.
Yeah, it was actually quite good. Yeah, I did enjoy that. But so we go like one of the things as well, like
cages and cop sirens. All that.
Yeah, like it goes straight into the first match as well, though. Like there's no, for want of a better term, dicking about. Like basically, as soon as Raw starts after the SummerSlam bit, because it is the start of the full season, which I don't really understand what that means. We've only been off air for 1 week, but anyway, straight into that first match. So they kind of mix it up. So they have like some vignettes and some promos while people are walking to the ring. So like for Razor's match, while he's coming out, we're treated to a bit of Dean Douglas. So
there's a lot of Dean Douglas in this show.
There really is. It's quite heavy on Dean
Douglas. He's referenced a lot in basically every match. Dean Douglas is referenced.
Yeah, he is indeed. And so Dean Douglas, in case people don't remember, at the time he's portraying a character who is the Dean part is he seems to be a university professor or dean, even though deans don't actually do any teaching as far as I'm aware. So his whole thing is he gives people scorecards on their matches, and he doesn't ever seem to be complimentary about anyone. So he's got into a bit of a ruckus with Razor, which has it set up a match in your house? Yeah. So the next pay-per-view is in your house. So Razor and Dean will be fighting there. Anyway, so we get to the first match, which is Razor against Bulldog. The British Bulldog in no way looking roided up at this point.
Well, he looks like he's lost 50 pounds and he's got a bit of a skinhead.
He really does, doesn't he?
Yeah, Lola says he looks streamlined.
Yeah, I think that might have been a comment on his hair as well, because he's got the short hair now. But yeah, he certainly looks a bit slimmer than he did. Yeah. So anyway, match gets started, which is like I enjoyed the match. Like I thought it was a good match. Yeah.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, and I wouldn't have obviously noticed when I was younger or cared, but it's a bit weird that Bulldog's doing all the power moves, even though he's a smaller guy.
Yeah, he is, but I mean that was his whole thing, wasn't it? He was supposed to be muscly.
It's a bit odd to watch now. For me, anyway.
Yeah, I'll give you that, but I mean, I've always thought Roman
was doing
Reigns
all the slams and stuff, and Razor was just doing mostly punches and kicks.
Yeah, he was. Bulldog also did that thing where, as a power guy, he goes out and goes to the top rope. It's like, mate, you're a power guy. This is like asking him to punch you in the face. So obviously it goes wrong. He gets knocked off for the top rope, and kind of doesn't turn the match around. It's just one of those spots where I was like, yeah. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why have you put yourself in that position when you must have known it was gonna go badly? But anyway, so that goes on. Like I said, the match is good though. It's pretty decent pace. It's decent action. And then I quite like the finish as well to that one, because basically the ref gets knocked down, doesn't he? So Bulldog whips Razor into him. I think he reverses an Irish whip into the ref. So then while the ref's down, Dean Douglas comes out and takes a pop at Razor.
Comes off the top rope.
Yeah. And then the 1-2-3 kid comes out as well to try and
even the score.
But basically, it's quite good. So what happens is the ref recovers, so he sees 1-2-3 kid's interference, but not Douglas's.
And then Douglas gets out of the way, and 1-2-3 kid comes off the top.
Yeah, and
hits.
So he hits. It's interesting
Razor,
actually.
Yeah.
He hits Razor, but Razor still gets DQ'd.
Because the ref knows that they're mates.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not one of those things where
I only figured this out as well in the aftermath. While it was going on, I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, I thought it was a decent enough ending though for
that was a good ending.
Yeah, and then we have some interview time with Razor and the 1-2-3 kid.
we found out that apparently Razor did the same last week and cost the 1-2-3 kid.
Yeah, apparently
But
came
didn't
in
watch
out
last
to
week.
stop him. Well, I don't think it was Raw last week. I think it was one of like the Saturday main event things or something like that. But anyway, yeah. So there's a bit of heat going on there between Razor and the 1-2-3 kid, because the 1-2-3 kid wants more respect from Razor or
Well,
something.
he keeps saying, "You stop. We're great mates, but you treat me like a kid."
Yeah. And actually, going back to something that you were saying, one of the great things about this interview is just an awesome running commentary from Jerry the King Lawler. So people are saying stuff, and he's just cackling and saying stuff like, "That's right."
Yeah, you tell him, kid.
It is pretty exceptional. One of the other things I noticed there as well, actually, is on the network, which is where we're watching it, they don't bother bleeping out the WWF. Yeah, they like on the documentaries they do bleep it, but they didn't on this one. So it's better. Like it's it's the original thing, and like it's weird to have it bleeped out. So yeah, I'm glad they don't. But yeah, so like I thought, good start to Raw. Like real nice.
Well,
stuff.
I was thinking, what was I thinking?
With
When I was thinking that WCW last week was good, because compared to this, it was not. Surprised me how good this was.
Yeah, it was.
Because after my brief foray into research, I was expecting WWE
to be a bit terrible.
Yeah,
I think we all kind of were.
But it wasn't,
yeah.
and it was a good match.
It was a good match, and then
the ending was nicely done.
Yeah, it made sense, and it was clarified
And now
as well.
I can't wait to see Razor and the 1-2-3 kid have a match.
It's a bit weird.
What they do with it.
A weird kind of three-way storyline going on where Razor's kind of caught in two storylines, but I'm sure it'll shake out. One thing to bear in mind as well is doesn't come out too much on this one, but this would be, judging from the people who are there and who are on Raw, this must be like peak click time. So like the belts are on Diesel and Shawn, and like Razor's kicking about, 1-2-3 kids getting in on stuff. Must have been pretty peak click time, really. Not seen any Triple H though, so I don't know if he's in it yet.
Would he have been the original Triple H at this time, Hunter Hearst Helmsley?
I mean, he would have been, yeah.
The
I'm not sure.
Gimmick.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's about though. So anyway, after the match, we get some vignettes. There's Owen and Yokozuna are tag champs at the minute. Seems like a strange combo. I can't really remember how it came about, but I'm sure they're probably.
I can briefly remember it being a thing. But
Yeah, like when I saw it, I do remember it happening, and Owen's pretty decent. Owen will be okay with it, and obviously Yoko's Yoko, so yeah, it is what it is. But they've got a match against Men on a Mission, which was a tag team I'd totally forgotten about, because
Viscera was one of them.
Yeah,
Is it King Mabel?
No, King Mabel and Sir Mo, which was Viscera before he was Viscera.
Viscera was King Mabel.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh shit, he was. Yeah, sorry, King Mabel. Yeah, big fat King Mabel. Yeah, so we'll see how that pans out. But
can't wait to see that.
Yeah, a bit of a stretch. Like it's two tag teams of a fat guy and someone else.
There's a lot going on in like they bombard you with stuff.
They really do.
We're doing this after watching it, and that knackered me out. Right?
Yeah, still really settling down. Turns out as well that Gorilla Monsoon is currently the storyline interim president, who is being described as a fan-friendly president. So, yeah,
Did
I mean
he
that's
take over Jack Tunney.
He must have been pretty soon after Jack Tunney if he doesn't take over directly. But yeah, so that's where we are at the minute with
Who is Jack Tunney?
He was the storyline president. That's all I really know. It's a bit weird because there isn't a guy like that in WCW at the minute. There's no kind of figurehead storyline figure. So like matches are just kind of happening, and like it's not really explained how they're coming out. Doesn't really make a difference to the show, but it's just an interesting, different way of doing it. Yeah, so
there's the Smoking Guns.
There is the Smoking Guns, yeah. what was interesting here was, like, I thought Billy Gunn looked about 10 years older than he will in, like, 5 years' time. Like, he looks in his mid-40s.
He looked like a cowboy in an 80s TV show.
He really, I mean, they both do a bit. And to be fair, that's the gimmick we're going for, so they can't be doing too bad.
That was a squash match, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a pretty much squash match against the Brooklyn Brawler and...
Rad Radford.
Yeah, Rad Radford. Don't know Rad Radford.
Like his name.
Don't really want it. It wasn't a bad match. Like, they kept going on about the Dallas Cowboys in it, though. Not sure if that was because of the cowboy gimmick, but like the commentary team spent a lot of time talking about the Dallas Cowboys because it was
and Vince McMahon's jacket.
And Vince McMahon's jacket, yeah. So it was Fingy's
French cut from J.C. Penney.
Yeah, surely was. Awesome, but yeah, well, it was Fingy. It was Tom Landry's birthday, so
Who's he?
He was the Cowboys coach that they won with. So the guy who coached the team that had Troy Aikman and won 2 or 3 Super Bowls in the early 90s. But I don't know which of that got them onto the Cowboys so much, but it went on for quite a while. It really did. So they mentioned one of the players as well, like who had just moved to them. Anyway, as you say, the match was essentially a squash match. It wasn't a terrible one, but it really did just fill a space in time.
The Smoking Guns won, by the way.
Oh, they did win, yeah.
Rad Radford didn't get the W.
No. We all feel bad for him because, we're not really expecting to see him again. But you never know.
You never know. I want to see Rad Radford again.
Yeah, I don't. For some reason. No offence against you.
We'll disagree then.
Yeah, agree to disagree. So anyway, then there's a gold dust vignette. So gold dust...
This was before Goldust became a joke.
It was, and it was. I think it was before his in-ring debut, actually.
He was really good, Goldust.
Yeah, I mean, it was at a time where they were very much using the word bizarre as a euphemism for many, many things. I don't think they could really settle on one.
He was bizarre, though.
He was bizarre, but
to be really
fair,
bizarre.
And saying bizarre, really, they didn't have to settle on. They kind of implied a bit of homosexuality, obviously the cross-dressing, but never had to say it, we never had to tie it down, which did really work better. And but they actually mention the 2 Wong Fu film as well. Like Vince mentions it after the Goldust vignette, because obviously that's about.
What does he say?
He says something like 2 Wong Fu, eat your heart out, or something like that. So, I mean, it would have just been released in the US.
So from that vignette, we get that Goldust is feuding with The Undertaker.
Yeah. So
he says, gold always shines light.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Like, you'd have to see it. But he basically suggests The Undertaker is a cloud over WWE and he's gonna...
Over evil clouds. Gold always shines light over evil clouds. And he's looking down on... a city? Is it LA? I don't know.
His whole thing was LA.
And he talks about, there's creatures of the night down there.
Yeah. Like, and his promos always tend to start with a movie quote. Like, I think this one was Night of the Living Dead. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was, as you say, it was genuinely a bit weird. But it was intriguing.
Weird.
Yeah, it was
not
intriguing.
Not jokey weird,
yeah,
like
you can't...
the, what are they called?
Golden Truth?
Well... I mean, on the other side.
Oh, the Dungeon of Doom. Yeah,
that's bad weird.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to them in a bit. Like, there's some considerably weird shit going on.
Goldust is believable weird.
He is believable weird. Yeah, it's kind of strange, but yeah, I mean, he's obviously at some point he'll eventually debut, and we'll see how he gets on. But
I would be intrigued to see him.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
If I was watching at the time.
And as you say, like, this Raw really was jam-packed. Like, you go straight into another match, which, like, again, this is just another squash match for Isaac Yankem.
Who's Kane?
Who is Kane. He's also apparently Jerry the King Lawler's personal dentist, which is a bit strange, but he's in there. He brought in as part of his feud with Bret Hart, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, they showed a clip of Jerry Lawler helping him against Bret.
Yeah,
pulling Brett out the ring.
So anyway, that's a squash match against
Scotty Taylor.
Scotty Taylor, yeah, who he did his best. Did old Scotty, but he didn't get the W. And then, genuinely my favourite bit
and
of
then
him.
in that, well, there's more of, what grade would Dean Douglas give this? I think
Yeah,
it
there's a
was
lot.
in every match.
There is a lot of references to it. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. But yeah, so then we're on to literally my favourite bit of the entire Raw. An In Your House promo. So In Your House is coming up. It's the next pay-per-view on WWE. It's in a couple of weeks. They have a man who identifies himself as the Toddster,
and
building up to it.
Refers to us as dudes and or dudettes.
I cannot stress this enough. The Toddster is an embarrassment. It is hilarious looking back, but that guy needs to have a long look at himself, because it is.
Yeah, for entertainment now, that was maybe the best thing of the whole show.
Yeah, but it's
for entertainment. If I was watching it then,
it is cringeworthy. Imagine you were sat just in your front room with your mates, hanging out watching TV, and your dad came in.
And all people of our age will know this, but so you're a wrestling fan. It's a bit of a dirty secret. You don't really tell anyone at school that you like your wrestling. But a few people are maybe sitting on the fence and they secretly probably like it, or maybe you think they could like it. You get them round to your house. You go, look, wrestling is good. What? They watch the show, and maybe a few are turning. Maybe a few are like, you know what, this isn't too bad. Yeah, actually, this is actually really good. When that comes on, you've lost them. Yeah,
they're gone for that. They might even beat you up before they leave. It is that bad. But anyway, so. We'll go over In Your House more. We'll probably do a separate edition for In Your House. But in essence, there's a triple header match. So Shawn and Diesel are teaming against the actual tag champs. And basically, if one of Shawn or Diesel loses, they lose their title to the guy
who pins him.
Yeah.
And then if Shawn or Diesel win, they're the tag champs.
Exactly, yeah. And the other thing that comes out of it is Brett is fighting a pirate. So Bret the Hitman Hart, who isn't on this Raw for some reason, is fighting an actual pirate-looking fella
called Jean-Pierre Lafitte. And this is what Bret's being given. So his feud is based around this pirate guy robbing the glasses
that Bret used to give to a fan. I mean, look, maybe they'll build up to that feud in next week's Raw. We don't know. We'll have a look. But again, he is a pirate. And then we get main event time. So it's Sid against Shawn for the IC belt.
Well, I put it just before we get to that. They previewed or a few matches.
Yeah, there was some others.
Who's this Waylon Mercy guy? Because he looks scary.
Look, we'll cover that on the In Your House.
I just made a note. Waylon Mercy.
Yeah, so
scary.
We will definitely cover that in Your House. He's not on this Raw, so it's pretty jam packed full. So we'll get to him.
He does look scary.
He does. He actually, and again we'll cover it more. He kind of looks like Bray Wyatt. It's a very similar. He's got the white pants and Hawaiian shirt.
Southern Gothic thing going on.
He does, but we'll come back to that. Now, basically, while Sid and Shawn are making their way to the ring, two observations. Sid does real believable psycho. He looks mental.
Sid was amazing. That music and that look. That was intense.
It is so. It's incredible. It's great. The other thing that happens during the walk-ins, which is up there with the Toddster. They genuinely try and sell you a Shawn Michaels hat and glasses. So the weird little cap that nobody in the world would wear.
And if you get both of them, you get a poster.
You get a poster as well. But
I did want that hat though.
Who would buy it?
No.
But yeah, they genuinely try and sell it to you.
Also, Shawn Michaels looks like a stripper. Even more so than I remember him being.
Yeah, he's a male stripper,
and it really does make me question what young me was.
Why okay.
Why I was so enamoured with him.
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with it. But
no.
I must have had some doubts.
He was a great worker, to be fair, but yeah. So I mean, and at this point, as we mentioned earlier, they go mental building Shawn Michaels. They cannot get they cannot get across you enough how great he is. Like,
how many times from the minute he comes out and throughout his match, do they say his name?
Oh, infinitely. They call him the most flamboyant superstar in the world,
The most resilient superstar.
Like, they just keep throwing words like that at you, and basically it's like Vince is stuck on loop and he's just saying Shawn Michaels. It's like someone go down there and slap him so he can get out of that weird loop.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
It goes on and on and on.
Also,
he loves Shawn Michaels.
One of the things that, like, would just get, like, just halfway through the match, I suddenly noticed the $1 Million Man was there. Like,
yeah, I didn't know why. Because he wasn't.
He's managing Psycho Sid.
Well, I figured that out later.
Yeah, but it was very much a. It was a real. It wasn't even an afterthought. He just wasn't. He just appeared all of a sudden, and that was it.
He didn't come out with Psycho Sid, did he?
It's not, I don't know, because they cut away to trying to sell you the stuff, so it was impossible to tell. But yeah, I mean, it was a good match as well. Like, it's a really good big guy against little guy match.
And they're really at this point trying to sell you that Shawn is also a real man.
Yeah,
because he's quite scrappy in it.
He is, yeah, and
like
it's a good match. You can't knock it for that. I mean, one of the super weird bits in it, like we said, we watched it in silence. There were a couple of bits where we both looked at each other and laughed, and one of them was there is a break. It was like a break that adds in the match, and when it comes back, Psycho Sid has Shawn in a bear hug, and Shawn is weirdly gyrated, and like it's a really odd visual to go back to.
Only as a wrestling fan can you understand the bear hug.
Yeah.
Anybody else who doesn't watch wrestling, the bear hug's not a good look.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Like, it really slows a match down as well, which is okay sometimes.
It's just how I explain it to other people who don't watch wrestling.
Yeah,
that upsets me the most.
Yeah, and I can see where you're coming from with that. Anyway, so Michaels eventually grabs a win with a super kick.
3 of them.
Well, the first one's to the stomach.
Yeah.
And then he plants one right on the old chin. And then going back to your stripper thing, he actually does a striptease in the ring after winning. He does it.
Like, he shows. I mean, he was in good shape, Shawn Michaels, and he was
nobody's knocking him.
All that. He basically shows you his pubes.
He does, yeah. Which again
was
top
of his pubes.
Like, still in the PG.
And the top of his bum crack.
Yeah, still in the PG era. I mean, it wasn't, it was in no way offensive. It was odd because it was.
Well, he starts stripping when it's still dark, and well, there's obviously lights, but
spotlights.
Yeah, spotlights, and then the lights come on.
Yeah,
and then he's
like, I best.
He acts all pretend embarrassed.
Yeah,
but also unbelievably obnoxious as well.
Yeah. Yeah, a combination that I don't think anyone in the world does as well as Shawn Michaels. Look, the man's a genius. On a side note, none of this is knocking Shawn. It's just a bit of a.
No, I'm his biggest fan.
Yeah, it's just a weird set of things to be having on TV at that time. And then, so the match is over. So we get a quick interview with Shawn and Diesel, which was decent. It's mainly Shawn, obviously. So they have a quick chat about the thing. Now they're not worried about the belts, and that's pretty much it for Raw.
Pretty much it.
Except
a lot
for
of pushing the new generation.
Oh yeah, they do. They say it a lot. Yeah.
From that, I got from that episode the two things that stuck in my head quite a lot were the pushing of the new generation.
Yeah.
And how much they pushed Dean Douglas.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean,
he was talked about.
I don't remember him
until Shawn Michaels came on, when it was all about Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
like we say, Vince McMahon said his name.
He's
so
times. Excitable.
Michaels with a dropkick. Michaels with it. Oh, look at him go! Michaels is this. Michaels is that.
You would not have been surprised to hear Vince inform you that he was fully erect over Shawn Michaels.
But yeah, so there was that. But yeah, Dean Douglas. Every match was, what would Dean Douglas think about this? What grade would he give this? Like.
Yeah, and
I didn't realise he was such a big deal, Dean Douglas.
Well, he'd just come over from ECW, hadn't he? So I don't know how over he was, but they were obviously at this point they were really pushing him.
He was top heel on that show.
Yeah, certainly he was on that show. Yeah, and he's also not a pirate, although he does have a kind of pointless gimmick. So, it's not that much better. But so that's
He's just a nasty teacher.
actually that's not a bad gimmick. Everyone hates nasty teachers. Yeah. As a thing, that's kind of all right. He does
Yeah,
a
as a
decent
kid,
line
you'd
in
have been
obnoxious.
like, he's a teacher, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
One of the odd things about Raw, which it'll come up a fair bit, I think, during this, is it's obviously pre-taped, so they show what seems to be actual footage from next week's. So, like, I always was under the impression that they tried to hock it off as live, but they didn't really seem to be doing that. They showed you actual footage, which was interesting.
Not bad.
Not bad, but yeah, it's just... Well, I mean, we'll come on to Nitro. So, basically, I can't remember how far in it is, so I'll probably leave it for a minute. We'll cover it in a little bit, but yeah. Anyway, so Nitro. Monday Nitro. So, it's from Florida. It's actually in an arena this time. The arena seems full. There's not a lot of camera work, but would demonstrate if it wasn't. But yeah, it opens with some big-ass fireworks as well. Like it,
Well, I remember last week I was saying how
big.
I thought the signature was really cool. After seeing the Raw one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still alright, but it's not even close, is it?
No, but like I did like the pyrotechnics when they come in.
Also, is it just me or does the show seem, and I don't mean darker in a...
Less well lit.
Yeah, it's really, it's less colourful.
Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. Yeah, I think it is. I think you're probably right on that. But I mean, we'll see how it goes along. It may have just been Florida and how the lighting was. Or they may have just certain different
a bit
arenas.
Less colourful.
Yeah, I mean their colour scheme is kind of just metal, which is it doesn't lend itself great. Whereas what
Metal and flames.
Yeah, and you can't set fire to everything unless you can. Anyway, so basically we have a bit of a recap of last week's festivities with Luger and Hogan. One of the things that I noticed there is Hogan's head is different colour to his body. Like, it's a bit weird. Like, he can't, like, and he put it, like, it fades to lighter as his head goes up. So the top of his head is quite white, and, like, the rest of him is like a chestnut mahogany. Yeah, it really is.
His body is a different race to his head.
It really is. And then there's a weird little thing, which I didn't really follow because I didn't... we haven't watched it, so... Where they're talking about Vader being AWOL. So...
I mean, was that to get in
Luger.
What they eventually get in? Well, you just give it away, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, yeah. Sorry, lads.
But
we'll come to that.
Or was this shoot or,
I don't know. I have
storyline?
I have a feeling that this was a shoot thing, but we'd have to look it up. But like,
I don't want to look it up.
No, but anyway, so storyline, he's
got AWOL.
So basically, War Games is coming up. It'll be the next one actually. It'll probably be the next podcast because it's the next thing. That
So
was
it
on
was
TV.
supposed to be Vader, Sting,
Macho Man, and Hulk Hogan
versus
the Dungeon of Doom, with a stipulation that if Hogan's team wins, he gets like 10 or 15 minutes in the ring alone with Kevin Sullivan, who is the leader
the
of
puppet master.
Yeah, and he's the leader of the Dungeon of Doom. So, but anyway, Vader's AWOL. Apparently, he hasn't turned in his paperwork, which they keep mentioning for some reason. So he's not eligible to compete. So yeah, so that's a real thing. But again, they move on, and then we get the build up from last week of Sabu coming in. Turns into a match with Sabu against a man in a leather jacket. Random guy, Alex Wright. I thought
Wonder Kid.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be just a squash match when he came in a leather jacket. I really did. So at first I refused to write his name down, but he actually does really well in this match, Alex Wright.
And he's only 20.
Yeah. So
the match was good.
Yeah, the match was good, and I really thought
compared as well to so last week as the opener was Brian Pillman and Jushin Thunder Liger. This was well better.
It was. Like, one of the things with this, like, and I think it's just going to be one of those things you'll get with a guy like Sabu. Obviously, the commentary team keep mentioning how
unpredictable he is.
and how he'll do anything to try and win. And they mention stuff like hitting people with chairs and stuff. And you just kind of sat there thinking, all of this stuff is illegal in the WCW. You won't win, you'll just get disqualified. But to be fair, they do a decent job of getting him, like, for a lot of high-risk stuff early. Like, he puts a chair, jumps off it, and Alex Wright dodges, and he goes into the barrier. Yeah, and it's decent, but, like, genuinely, the one thing I took out of it was, like I say, I thought it was going to be a squash match for Sabu. And, like, I thought Alex Wright was really decent. Like,
he did a mixture of proper wrestling moves.
Yeah.
You know, German suplexes. He did this weird flippy thing off the top rope and landed on his feet.
He did, yeah. And
like a somersault, was it?
Pretty much, yeah. It was. I don't know where
moonsault.
Don't know where the line between somersault and backflip is, if I'm honest. But yeah, he did some stuff. So the one big problem I had with the match was how the actual match ended. So like Alex Wright was on top at the time, and then Sabu suddenly does a move, and then there's a kind of disappointing pin.
What was it? It was like a Frankensteiner and then a pin at the end.
Yeah.
Of it, which we later found out was called an Arabian press.
An Arabian press,
But
yeah. Nobody in the world does it better.
You found that out after the next thing happened.
But basically, and then, like, so the actual finish to the match, like, even the commentators were like, oh, is it over? Because it was sounding like the actual end did fall a bit flat, but then Sabu...
Oh, we got in the match as well. We got a where the big boys play.
Yeah, we're going to get a fair few of those, mate. Sabu's actually quite little as well, which is, just somewhat bear in mind.
Well, you found a lot, because in ECW, they were all smaller guys, so when these guys went into different, the big two after that, quite a lot of them looked a bit small.
Yeah, they
smaller than you thought they would be, because when they're with each other, you can't really tell.
Yeah, you can't really tell. But anyway, so having won the match, Sabu, for reasons only known to himself, decides...
It's unpredictable. We did tell you.
So he decides to take young Righty outside and give him a bit of a scene to in a violent, non-sexual way. So he puts him through a table and stuff, and then, unsurprisingly, he has his decision reversed, and Wright wins by disqualification. Because as I was saying, all of that stuff is illegal in the WCW. He's willing to go and get a bat and beat you up. Then I'll just beat him.
It was, as Heenan says, attempted manslaughter.
yeah. Because at one point, is it Mongo who says, like, that's what he's been disqualified for? And he's just like, what the hell are you talking about? He puts a man through a table. You can't do that. Which is fine, but, like, it was a good start to it, actually. Like, there was a worry that, obviously, with Sabu, like, a lot of his stuff is with tables and whatnot, like how they would get that into a match. But
it was shoehorned in, but
I mean, it still worked. It wasn't terrible. Like, it was okay. You know what I mean? It was okay. And then, so that went by pretty nippy. It was, like, there was no waiting for it to end or anything. And we get the return of, actually before that, we get Mean Gene with Flair, wasn't it, up next?
Yeah.
So Flair cuts, for him, surprisingly brief promo. Because, he's big on a promo. So basically, he's cutting a promo about himself and Arn, and how they were big mates, but Arn's, no longer by his side. He does for Four Horsemen sign and stuff. It's a good promo. Like, it's real good. Like, it's Ric Flair, so, it's not going to be bad, but... Yeah.
Four Horsemen stands for the symbol of excellence.
Yeah. And so he really hammers home that they were the best of mates, and now they're not a bit. Then for some reason Luger comes out.
Yeah, this I didn't know what went on. He
just appears.
Then he went, Rick, shucks, and then just left.
Yeah, and, like, to be fair, I enjoyed Rick's bit of that promo. So Rick starts going on about Hulk Hogan and how, how he's, like, how Luger is the total package, and he's there and he's going to beat Hogan. And then he refers to Lex Luger as package. He says, I'm a package. It's going to take that belt away from you. And your package. and like you say, Lex basically just goes, oh, Rick, you scamp. And then just leaves. So, kind of a bit pointless, but still a lot of fun, I thought.
I mean, maybe I'm as well. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining it, but does he now seem a lot bigger than he was in WWE?
Luger? I can't remember him in WWE.
For reasons that are obvious, but he does seem to...
Like, the man is an Adonis.
Massive. But I remember him in WWE when he was doing the Narcissus gimmick.
Yeah, he wasn't.
And I remember I thought he looked smaller than when he was in WCW, but now he seems to look massive again.
Possibly. I don't remember to compare. So anyway, so that goes off. And then we get... So, Michael Wall Street from last week, have a promo, gets his in-ring debut.
And a personality, well, a name change.
Yeah, comes in and is announced as VK Wall Street.
Which is obviously a nod to Vincent Kennedy.
McMahon, yeah. I don't really know why, because it isn't clear enough a dig at him, and Vince McMahon isn't a big Wall Street businessman. It's
also for a TV audience, which is, I assume, what they're trying. It's needless, and Michael would have been better.
Yeah, it's just odd, and
for someone who isn't, you know.
And all the commentators like, why's he, what's with this VK stuff? And everyone's like, dunno, mate.
You'll have to ask him.
And
make an appointment.
Maybe somebody will at some point. But so this also just as this match gets started, WCW's Nitro is live, whereas Raw is taped. So they tell you the result of the main event of Raw. So Bischoff tells you that Shawn Michaels beats Sid with a super kick that wouldn't beat a green belt at the YMCA, I believe it is.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's an interesting little dynamic, because obviously they can do it because they're live and it is.
If they'd have told you that, would you have switched over?
I would have probably switched over anyway to see Sid against Shawn Michaels rather than Hogan against Luger, if I'm honest. But yeah, I would have. Yeah, I'd have switched over to see that. So I mean, it could be double-edged, but like I didn't mind it. They also at some point.
What do you think of VK Wall Street singlet?
Oh, I've actually got a note on this. I was going to bring this up. It's terrible. I hate, like, his ring gear is awful. He looks like somebody has bought a very poor $1 Million Man costume, like, because obviously $1 Million Man just has for trunks, but like
he's got a singlet with the same symbol
with the dollar symbol on, but it just like it's much bigger the dollar symbol because it's on a singlet and it's both sides, and it does, like I say, it looks like just a fake $1 Million Man, and it's just no point to it. It's weird.
Also, I like Sting, but we just watched Raw. Sting is so 80s.
He's pretty high energy though. I don't mind him.
No, as a performer, I like him.
Yeah.
Just his get up and his intro compared to the stuff that they're trying to do on Raw, it's just very dated.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. There's also just another thing with Sting. There was
I can't believe we're calling things dated.
Yeah, but we're anyway.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
We're dated.
Yeah, we are. But so Sting, there is another point in this match where once again I was like, Sting has to have touched his penis there. So I don't. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, come on, Sting, you gotta watch where you put those hands, mate. but and then Sting wins clean was the one thing that
with a move that I wasn't familiar that he won with.
No, he did. So he does a crossbody from the top. Not that familiar with Sting. Not something you'd associate with him. But
again, I'm no as well expert on wrestling logic and booking, but after all that effort with Wall Street,
yeah,
we had vignettes on last week.
You were building him up as a threat to the main guys, and one of your main guys has just beat him
fairly easily.
Yeah, with about two. There wasn't even a case of. Like, from that match, I still don't know what VK Wall Street's signature move is.
He didn't do that much better than Radford.
No, it was a squash match for a guy that you've been building. That's, as you say, we don't want to get into that too much, but, I mean, we will mention it, because like, the fans, fans
but even I'm noticing it.
Yeah. And, like, yeah, I was very, very surprised that, like, I mean, I wasn't surprised that Sting beat him. I was surprised they put him in with Sting for his first match. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? But anyway, that was that. It was okay. But in terms of a match, it was kind of nothing, because Sting wins it pretty quickly and pretty clean. But that brings us on to Scott Norton against Randy.
I was surprised with Scott Norton's attire.
Yeah, he looked a bit weird.
No, just I thought they were going to go down that he's a legit. I thought he'd have wore something that was less wrestling-y.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why they didn't.
Maybe.
Yeah, so
there's no reason to think
they bill him as a professional arm wrestling champ as well. So again, like, this comes back to last week, where they're trying to build him as like a legit hard guy. He's a real dangerous man, that kind of thing.
This for me was probably as well the best match of the two shows. Yeah,
I've got to agree. I mean, it's very much, for the most part, Randy getting beaten down. But then, like, there's a believable, like, Randy digs deep. It's got a good story, this match.
A really good change of direction.
Yeah, it really it makes sense. It's a solid match. There's decent action in it. The Dungeon of Doom come out towards the end, seemingly to beat up Randy, but it goes a bit wrong. One of them, Shark, obviously, Earthquake. He kind of falls on Norton's legs, and Randy does his elbow to the heart of the top rope, and gets the win and gets out there before he gets beaten up, which was nice. So, also one thing from the Dungeon of Doom. It's the first time on Nitro we've seen Kevin Sullivan properly. He doesn't do a lot. You don't see him, but like, his gimmick seems to be he just has comically large fake eyebrows drawn on in black, which is weird. I don't understand what that's for.
I've just watched the first episode of Nitro and the second episode of Nitro. I've not watched any WCW before this. They're at what's it, Fall Brawl, where they're going to face off?
Yeah.
You've told me nothing about the Dungeon of Doom. I don't know. I don't even know who's in it. I only know off my own. Well, that's Earthquake.
Yeah.
That's Brutus. That's Kamal. But they've not. I know more about Michael Wall Street than I do about the Dungeon of Doom.
It is strange, yeah, I'll grant you that. And, like, in particular, like, one of the odd things as well is, especially watching Raw left me in absolutely no doubt what's going on.
Well, like I said,
in your house.
At times, a little bit too much.
And basically, I picked up the stipulations of the main event from War Games by piecing things together. Mm-hmm. Nobody said, this is what's happening at War Games. Like, it was just assumed that you knew that Vader being AWOL was a problem because Hogan's team were down a man, but nobody actually said it, which, like I say, it's a bit strange. But then we get Hogan against Luger. So again, this was made last week. And just before going, I wrote this down before the start of the match. I am so sure the Dungeon of Doom will interfere in this match, but it causes me a small amount of physical pain. But it's one of those things, and it's not WCW's fault, but it's all set up. Like, those guys have to come out. It's the only logic. Like, basically, you can't imagine Luger will win the title, but like, having him beat clean by Hogan at this point would be a bit pointless as well. So, surely
it's the only way to go.
Yeah. The match itself. Also, well, like, we didn't pick up on it too much last week, even though he was there. But Hogan has Jimmy Hart as his manager at this point, which is kind of a bit odd because he was always a heel manager whenever I saw him. And Hogan with a manager seems like a bit of a waste of a manager. Like, what are you going to do with Hogan? You stand in the background while he rants about pasta.
Also, Jimmy Hart looks like a bad guy.
He does, yeah. He's not. He's a lovely man, but he's got a heel look going on. So
he looks annoying.
He does. Like, his whole thing, like the mouth of the South. It's a.
I know him as a bad guy.
Yeah, and I think everyone did. I'm sure he did fine. I just, like, it doesn't affect the match in any way. It's just
but we all know what's going to happen at Fall Brawl.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to think, wouldn't you? But anyway, we'll see. Now, the match itself was, I mean, it was pretty slow paced. They both do a little bit of no selling early on.
during the match was concern about Macho Man's ribs.
Yeah, because after his match with Norton, he got a bit beaten up. His ribs were apparently injured.
So that's setting up there. Or is he going to be fit for?
Yeah, exactly.
Is another one going to not be available?
And then, there's a weird false finish thing where Lex for some reason thinks has Hogan in the torture rack and for some reason thinks he's won, so lets him out. I can see why they did it. So basically, Hogan doesn't have to quit, and it doesn't have to make it look like the torture rack's rubbish.
So he thinks he's won it, doesn't he, Lex?
Yeah, so he lets go of the hold, and then shortly after, Hogan hulks up. One of it actually was a glorious bit of irony in this match as well. So as well as our earlier thing about giving you the results, in this match, Bischoff has a dig at Diesel. So basically, he says that the champ over in WWE never got above mid-card status in WCW. Which is true, he was there as
he also when
Vincent Vegas, I think it was.
Vinny Vegas.
Yeah.
He also when Lex is getting beat up a bit, says he's not used to the competition.
Yeah,
he's not used to this kind of competition.
Yeah, it's
where
interesting.
The big boys play.
Obviously, the dig at Diesel is ironic because, as we all know, in a couple of years, basically he's
going to be running the show.
Yeah, he's going to basically be the biggest thing ever to happen to WCW. So, arguably, probably not, in all fairness. But yeah, so then that happens, and then so Hogan hulks up, does his shtick,
does the big foot, the leg drop, and then Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, then the Dungeon of Doom turn up as they were always gonna. So Macho and Sting come out for the save, which is nice. Then we have an interview with those four and Mean Gene. So there's a bit back and forth about whose side is Lex Luger on.
Well, because they never laid a finger. The Dungeon of Doom came out, but they never attacked Luger. So they never laid a finger on Luger.
Yeah, I found it surprising that they went on about that as much as they did. I mean, they don't know Lex Luger. Away. Hulk Hogan is obviously the guy they're going after. Why would
Didn't
they?
Macho as well say that because when
they didn't attack Sting, yeah.
Was it Sting or Jimmy Hart?
Oh, it might be Jimmy Hart. I don't know. Yeah, it was Jimmy Hart actually. Yeah,
so Savage is going nuts, isn't he?
Claims he doesn't trust Luger, but then Sting steps in as peacemaker. He does a decent job here, Sting, and basically Sting suggests they get Lex Luger in to replace Vader in their weird War Games thing. And then Hulk Hogan does a thing that always irritates me about him. He feels the need to spell it out.
You hate Hulk Hogan.
Like, to a degree which is just bizarre. So he goes, wait, are you telling me that you want to add Lex Luger to our team? To which Sting somehow manages to resist the urge to go, yes, I have directly said those exact words at least 3 times. I don't understand the confusion. But he doesn't. He says, yes, that's
he's
basically
a pro.
What I'm saying. Yeah. But, to be fair to Hogan, I made that sound like a real negative. We have actually complained a couple of times in WCW about them not clarifying things. And again, similar from last week, Hogan stays on message. He makes sure that you know exactly what's going on. There's no way to get it wrong with Hogan. You know what the deal is. You know what's happening. So it's not the end of the world. It's just in this particular case, it seemed ridiculous. But anyway, so that goes. And that's basically the end of that. So they agree it. So Luger gets added in exchange for a future title shot. And then we go back to the commentators and they see us out. And I've just noted that, as it goes down and, as the show ends, you just hear Bobby and just randomly say, we're going at it again! Just as the TV show ends. So God only knows what was going on.
But what it makes you feel, it doesn't stop just because the cameras, they're still...
Yeah, it was a good little thing. I didn't mind it. So Nitro overall, it was hit and miss. Nitro.
Well, obviously, I watched. This is last week. I didn't watch it sober, so I watched it sober this week.
Yeah, that sound is basically Nitro. Now, as you say, one thing to note is it did have what was probably the best match, which was Savage against...
Savage is a genius, isn't he?
Yeah, he really isn't. The Sabu match was good as well. it's just a case of there was a lot of, unlike Raw, it feels less jam packed than Raw. Everything was quite spaced out. You had plenty of time to get everything done.
Raw was it was a to the senses, wasn't it? Bam, bam, bam.
It really was, yeah. But like Nitro, much less so. And overall, like there was a lot of stuff that just felt a bit flat. Like Sting and Wall Street was just a bit nothingy. And like having the Dungeon of Doom run out twice is a bit. Do we need them twice? Like that seems a bit overkill.
I don't even know who they are really.
Yeah, and Sting's kind of everywhere as well. So, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible. It wouldn't have.
But I've seen 2 episodes of Nitro now. I've seen 1 of Raw. I know everything that's happening in the WWE.
They do a great job of getting that info in. I mean, they also try and hawk you
and why things are happening.
Random things you
and I
wouldn't
want to buy a
possibly
Shawn
want.
Michaels hat.
No, nobody does. But yeah, so I mean, I think basically the conclusion we're getting to here is Raw's pretty much the clear winner this week.
By miles. More than I thought it would be at this stage as well.
Yeah, so I mean, last week, despite my claims to the country, last week was called a no contest, basically. So Raw's taken an early lead, which is interesting. So basically, we'll be taking a quick, not break from the Monday Night Wars, but the next podcast will be covering Fall Brawl War Games of the WCW. So we'll have a little special edition where we just go over that and see what's what. So obviously it won't be competing with anything because the pay-per-views don't go head to head. Maybe we'll score it out of 10.
Maybe we'll just say, would we buy this or not?
Yeah, maybe. I'll maybe score out. Scoring out of 10's tricky because, you know, like what we score here, it might all change.
In your life, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. So anyway, so that will be released at some point next week, I would imagine. But yeah, so tune in for that, and then obviously we've got Raw and Nitro both back on for the 18th of September, 1995. So some interesting stuff going down. Kind of hope we see Bret Hart is my main thing for next week. Wasn't on it at all.
Like we touched on, mate, you know, Sean's got this going on, Diesel's got this going on. They've all got these really cool and interesting feuds going on, and Bret's feuding with a pirate. And
like he looks like a pirate costume from a fetish shop. It's very, very strange. But yeah, anyway, so join us next week for that, and hopefully we'll get some Bret. Anyway, peace out, everyone. Have a good night.